Over the past several days, 3 females have been found dead.
Looks like someone's going after these girls.
Then they have to know to watch their backs.
Streaming March 13th.
You really want what happened to this woman that happened to you?
Exactly why I need to keep going on this.
Starring Emmy Award winner Amanda Seyfried.
I'm worried about what you're gonna find. So am I.
Long Bright River. A limited series. Streaming March 13th. Only on Peacock.
Hi, and welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore. I am a food truck business trainer, author of Food Truck 101, Beginner to Winner, and the forthcoming book, Food Truck 201, Get Off the Truck. This podcast is all about helping you start and grow your food truck business. This weekend, we had a heated discussion on my Facebook group about whether you should sell a recipe to a restaurant or not. As many people said to sell the recipe as many people said not to sell the recipe. So really, what is the best route to take? So let's look at the legal side of things, just so you know where you stand. Can you copyright a recipe? Copyright protection gives the creators of literary and artistic works certain exclusive rights. However, the U.S. Copyright Office says individual recipes are difficult to protect because no matter how delicious the results, they often lack the necessary literary expression. Now, an unpublished recipe can be protected under trade secret law, and we'll talk about that in a couple of minutes, but that also means that the cooks that use it have to sign NDAs and then also non-competes. And both of those agreements, they're not really enforceable. A collection of recipes, like in a cookbook, that can be protected because it can be copywritten, because the order of the recipes is what's getting copywritten, not necessarily the individual recipe. And then any stories or personal information that you put in with the recipe. This is my grandmother's recipe, and we lived in the country, and whatever the story is, that all becomes literary and artistic. And you can copyright that as a group. That protection, again, gets strengthened by that literary commentary. Just listing ingredients and giving directions, it's not going to get you copyright. So we can't copyright it. How about we patent it? Patent law is probably not going to be the best method either. You might be able to patent a method of preparing a dish, but you're going to have a real hard time proving that it's a novel dish. And what that means is that that recipe has never ever been known to humanity before the filing date of your patent. And it takes over a year, sometimes longer, to get a patent protection. So that means you effectively can't use the recipe. The recipe will be published, and once you do, if you are granted a recipe, guess what happens? The whole world gets to see it because patents become public to prevent other people from accidentally doing what you're doing. So even though you may have a patent on it, how are you going to prove that somebody else didn't just copy it and they're selling it now? Now that would be an unscrupulous person for sure, but you can actually do that. Can you trademark a recipe? Trademark law protects names and it protects visual images like a logo. And that's to ensure that consumers don't get confused between two different brands with similar names and similar images, similar logos. So a trademark cannot prevent copying your recipe. It can prevent competitors from using a similar name to your dish, providing that you are selling or planning to sell the results of the recipe to the public. So you have that recipe and it's for, let's say it's for tacos, and you have to plan on selling it, then you can trademark it, but it has to have a specific name. You can only trademark the name, not the ingredients of the taco, not the recipe that goes into making that taco. So for example, let's talk about the taco, and you're going to name it Grandma Maria's Authentic Mexican Taco. You can trademark that sentence, Grandma Maria's Authentic Mexican Tacos. And you can even trademark an illustration of a grandmother that corresponds to Grandma Maria. That name and label, those can be trademarked. The ingredients to that Mexican taco cannot. So while trademarking helps you with your marketing, it doesn't really help you protecting the ingredients to a specific recipe. So let's get to that trade secrets that everybody talks about. KFC and Coca-Cola and all the other places that claim to have hidden away in some big vault guarded by people, guarded by the army with, Fort Knox-like safeguards in place. Those kind of recipes are known as trade secrets. And a trade secret is insider knowledge. It gives your business an advantage. Coca-Cola and the formula for Coca-Cola is one of those big deals. To enforce the secret, though, you have to have everybody that comes in contact with any part of your food. It's not only the end result recipe, but it's also the ingredients. They have to sign a non-disclosure agreement. So everybody that provides lettuce and tomatoes and pickles and all that other stuff is going to be going into your taco has to sign an NDA that they'll never disclose how much they sell to you. If you have somebody manufacture a seasoning packet, they have to have an NDA signed that they'll never disclose what your little mixture is for that and how much they sell to you. Your distributors, all your employees, anybody that's going to have contact or knowledge of the recipe has to sign an NDA. But here's the thing. Keep in mind that anyone with any kind of cooking background can reverse engineer your recipe. So that takes us back to, should you sell it? Should you not? Anyone, like I said, with a decent amount of food knowledge and a decent palate can replicate your food just from having bought it. My wife, for example, can take a food item and within 2 or 3 sessions can replicate it, and most times she can make it better. So thinking that grandma's recipe can never be duplicated is pure folly. Protecting a family secret makes for a great story to tell the kids, and honestly, no one outside the family cares, and they're definitely not going to be impressed. If Granny told you to never tell your secret recipes, and you promise to never reveal the secret, honor your word. Don't give away the secret. But then also, don't cook it, because it can be replicated. And it could even be improved. Like I said, there's many people out there that can do what my wife does. Any chef with any skill can buy a meal and replicate it. So if you want to honor keeping grandma's secret recipe, don't cook it for anybody. My grandmother used to make an amazing cornbread. She would take the ingredients, throw them into a 100-year-old cast iron pan that had been passed down to her from her grandparents. And was it amazing? No, not really any more than any other packaged cornbread mix. But the story of the pan, the way she mixed those homegrown ingredients, the ingredients that were milled just down the road, just down the holler from where we were, freshly milled ingredients, freshly grown ingredients. Those memories, they can't be bought or sold. So would I sell that recipe if someone asked? Absolutely, I'd sell that recipe. Would it taste the same? No way in the world would it taste the same. It would just be food. And that food might evoke a memory, maybe. But unless I was sitting at that same kitchen table hearing that ridiculously loud well pump whirl and grind and groan every time Grandma turned on the sink to get some water, and then smelling that cornbread baked, that becomes the taste of the food, that experience. And I can't sell that, nor can I buy it. Understand recipes are assets to your business. Since protecting those assets is really difficult and you are selling your food to the public, you're going to expect people to want to know the recipes. Hey dude, how do you make that? Sell those recipes while you can. Put them in a cookbook, make some money. I guarantee you someone will buy a couple of your meals, and even with Grandma's secret recipe, and take it to a chef and say, hey chef, replicate this for me. I would like to sell this. The chef will do it. They'll replicate it and they'll go out and make easy money. And guess what? Their food may not taste as good as yours, or it may taste better. But you will have lost an opportunity to make money having sold them that recipe in the first place. Your recipes are your assets. Make money off of them. That's what assets are for. Thank you guys so much for listening to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. If you're finding all the information helpful to your food truck business, please become a monthly supporter of the podcast. Just hit the support button or follow the link in the description. Every little bit does help keep us going. Join our Facebook group. It's called Food Truck Training. We have a whole bunch of awesome members at all different levels, from brand new beginners to decades-old veterans. They all have your back when it comes to helping you with your food truck. And again, thank you for listening. Come back tomorrow because I got plenty more to say when it comes to helping you and your food truck business grow.